Hey, what's up, gang? I don't really know what to say about this game, man. It was a lot. It was brutal. You know what I mean? But I gotta get my analysis, so you know. Let me go ahead and start by saying, yesterday they said play calling, offense. It was just atrocious. Like everything from. And y'all know a couple days ago I put up my video defending the defense. It's nothing anybody can say about how the defense played yesterday. Between special teams and the defense, this game was supposed to be a blowout, considering we got this high-octane, high-powered offense that everybody likes to talk about. We'll say this. Chip Kelly got out-coached yesterday, and I said on my other video how he doesn't put any emphasis on time of possession. He doesn't think that matters, but it does. And for our defense to be out there on the field for 45 minutes of that game, that's just terrible. I don't care if the offense goes out there and drives down the field and we might just get a field goal out of it. Either way, you got to give them guys enough time on the sideline to get a breather. There's no way in hell you can put a defense on the field for 45 minutes of any game. And yet and still, we still had a chance to win it. The play calling was terrible. A lot of people tell me, well, we got a makeshift offensive line. We got a banged up offensive line. If this guy's making millions to coach this team, that's something that he knew going into this game a week ago. He could have executed a better game plan than he did. Like, I'm sorry, like if you got a bad offensive line, it's a bunch of plays you can use to play to their strengths. A bad offensive line is not going to get you out of as terrible an offensive game we had yesterday. Foles had way too many overthrows. He was inaccurate. And he's been doing that a lot this year, but the fact that we've been able to come back and get it together and win games, it helped us out, and it made us go 3-0. But the defense yesterday and the special teams, you can't really have a much better game than that. I mean, it's possible, but for us to have a pick six, for us to have a punt return touchdown, and for us to have a block punt that we recovered for a touchdown, that's 21 points for our team that didn't even include offensive output. So basically this game yesterday was on the offense. I hear a lot of people saying Kerry Williams this, Kerry Williams that. Listen, Kerry Williams, to give up a twinkle toe touchdown to Stevie Johnson, that's rare in the NFL. Like, receivers don't usually catch touchdowns like that. And I'm not justifying it. Maybe he should have been playing better defense. But like I said, if you have them guys on the field for 45 minutes of any game, that just means that your offense was out there 15 minutes for a 60-minute game. It's inexcusable. So I don't put this onus on the defense, period. The defense couldn't have did a better job against Colin Kaepernick. They had, I think, 4 sacks last night after many of the Eagles fans on the We Bleed Green page predicted we wouldn't get a sack. They, let me see. I'll go to the statistics right now for you guys. Okay, let me see. Okay, okay, here we go. Team stats. We had 11 first downs. San Francisco had 20. We had 56 total plays. San Francisco had 76. Total yards, we had 217. San Fran had 436. Passing yards, we had 195. San Francisco had 218. Rushing yards is where they killed us. They trumped us. San Francisco had 218 rushing yards. We had 22 rushing yards. Penalties was even. Both teams had 10. We had 70 yards on penalties. They had 80. Time of possession, 42-17 for San Francisco. 17-43. That means we didn't even have the ball on offense for 20 minutes. Turnovers killed us. We had 4 turnovers in yesterday's game. San Francisco had 1. 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Inexcusable. Nick Foles, 21 for 43, 195 yards passing, 4.5 yards per attempt, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Colin Kaepernick, 17 for 30, 218 yards, 7.3 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing yards. I don't know what's going on with Shady McCoy this year, but he had 17 yards on 10 carries. Sproles had 4 yards on 1 carry. Nick Foles had 1 yard on 1 carry. Frank Gore, 119 yards on 24 attempts. Colin Kaepernick, 58 yards on 7 attempts. Carlos Hyde, 26 yards on 10 attempts. And Bruce Ellington, of course, had that 1 rush for 15 yards. Okay, you got the receiving core. Jeremy Maclin, 5 catches for 68. Cooper, 6 catches for 54. Zach Ertz, 4 catches for 43. Matthews, 4 catches for 28. And Darren Sproles, 2 catches for 2 yards. Anquan Bolden, we didn't allow a 100-yard receiver again, which is another reason why Anquan Bolden, 62 yards, 5 receptions. Frank Gore had the touchdown reception for 55 yards. That was his only catch, but that was a busted play that cost us. Crabtree, 5 catches, 43 yards. Brandon Lloyd, 2 catches, 28 yards. Stevie Johnson, of course, the 1 touchdown catch, 12-yard catch. Derek Carrier, 1 catch for 10 yards. Vernon Davis, 2 catches for 8 yards. Okay, as far as sacks, Connor Barwin had a sack. Matthews had a half a sack. Trent Cole had a half a sack. Vinny Curry had a sack. Brandon Graham had a sack. And of course, Malcolm Jenkins had the interception for the pick 6. They sacked Foles 1 time. It was Ian Williams. Got 1 sack on Nick Foles. Anton Bethea had the 1 interception. Parrish Cox had the other interception. And of course, Bethea forced the fumble on Ertz. And I think Parrish Cox was the one who hit Riley Cooper and made him fumble. I'm not sure about that. Cody Parkey made all his extra points. Donnie Jones, 48.5 yards per punt. 6 punts. That was ridiculous. 6 punts. Phil Dawson, 4 for 4 on field goals, 2 extra points. Their punter punted 5 times also, which shows our defense played damn good. 235 yards, 47 on average. Okay, Sproles, of course, had the punt return touchdown. He had three punt returns, averaged 28.7 on each punt return. Chris Polk had 3 kick returns, 21.7 on average. They didn't have a special teams touchdown, the 49ers, so those stats don't really matter. Now, I was reading, says Foles is playing behind a banged up offensive line, which is excusable to a certain extent. Like, I don't think you can have an offensive line. Now, I can see if in the beginning of the game we lost key players and you had to put backups in, then you got a whole new game plan. Whereas, like, you can say, okay, such and such went out the game. But when you know that you're going to play this game with a makeshift offensive line, as a coach, it's a better way to game plan. As an offensive coordinator, like, these guys make millions. So as an offensive coordinator, you know that your team is going out there with a makeshift offensive line. I think the running plays was predictable. I think the offense is predictable. And a lot of people like to say Chip Kelly's this offensive guru. He's this offensive genius. I really haven't seen anything from our offense that's really blows the NFL out of the water. Like, I'm still waiting for Chip to go in his bag of tricks. And, like, even in the preseason, they said Chip's not going to expose his whole offensive plan. Okay, that's cool. But we're playing like a basic offense. Like, it's just added emphasis because we have these comeback victories and it looks like we're so explosive. We are an explosive offense, and I said this before. We always top 5 and everything, but as much as they emphasize how Chip is such an offensive guru, I never really see anything from us which makes that valid. Maybe he has his offensive bag of tricks, I don't know, but I haven't seen it yet. And on the not the last drive we had where it was 4th and 24 and Foles had the interception in the game. The drive before that, they had a screenplay set up, but it didn't work because San Francisco read it. And right before that drive started, I said they need to have McCoy and Shady McCoy and Darren Sproles on the field at the same time, whereas the defense have to guess what's going to happen. If you run a screenplay with Shady McCoy on the field and Darren Sproles on the field, you don't know who's going to get the ball, you don't know who to guard, and it's pretty much a mismatch. Chip Kelly ran a predictable play, which was a screen pass to Darren Sproles, where Shady wasn't on the field. So they pretty much knew what was going to happen. And this is what's pissing me off about this offense, is Harbaugh clearly outcoached Chip Kelly. And the funny thing about it is, like, we did nothing in that game that was unpredictable. Like, they knew when Shady was going to run. They knew the offensive line was a bunch of backups. So as a coach, you got to sit down and you got to make a make a game plan that they won't predict. And if they do predict it, you make adjustments and you counter that with a different type of game plan. We did nothing on offense yesterday that San Francisco pretty much didn't predict. We didn't score a touchdown. I don't think I ever seen an Eagles game where we had 0 points on offense. And the way the defense played and the way the special teams scored, this game should have been a blowout. Had the offense even got 2 touchdowns, we would have had 35 points. And that's just one thing that pisses me off about the game yesterday, how predictable the offense was. I read here that it says Foles' inconsistency continues. Yeah, I mean, the offense just wasn't there, and that's my point of emphasis. But as far as the defense is concerned, I tip my hat to them guys, and they played a damn good game yesterday. And even how people say, the defense, it wears down towards the end of the game if you keep putting those guys on the field. We consistently had 3 and outs all game. And those guys still was out there. I mean, they did give up the 55-yard touchdown to Frank Gore. The last thing you want is Frank Gore, a running back, killing you in the passing game. And they gave up the touchdown to Stevie Johnson. But when it was time for them to get off the field, they still got off the field. So that defensive consistency lasted and well into the 4th quarter. You can't expect a defense that played 45 minutes to not give up touchdowns, and they're not going to shut down. You're not going to shut down an opposing offense playing 45 minutes on the field as a defense. It's just not going to happen. And just like I say, when the offense had enough, the defense got enough key stops for the offense to come back and win that game, and they did. The defense was great yesterday. I mean, I got the Eagles defense on my fantasy team, and they got me 28 fantasy points. Defense and special teams combined. So you can't really play much better than they did with the amount of time that they were on the field. And to not have an offensive touchdown, I put this game solely on the offense, on Chip Kelly and his play calls. Now, thankfully, we will get Lane Johnson back, but we still will be playing without Evan Mathis and Jason Kelsey. And Chip, he just needs to sit down and have a better game plan. Like, you got Darren Sproles here for a reason. If you're going to run a screenplay with Darren Sproles, do not let Darren Sproles be on the field by himself. Put Shady McCoy on the field, too. Make the defense guess. Like, Shady McCoy, he's not doing it this year, and a lot of people say it's because of the offensive line. Shady McCoy likes to dance and everything, whereas you just need to sometimes just hit the hole and run. Like, you just run. You can't always put that on the offensive line, especially when the offensive line been practicing all week. These same guys been practicing all week. You knew these guys was going out there. And the game plan that you come out with against the San Francisco 49ers is terrible. Now, Riley Cooper, he did have the drop in the end zone, which could have been a touchdown. At first, I thought it was a bad throw till I seen the replay, but Riley Cooper could have caught that pass. Foles overthrew a lot of receivers. And it's just not, it just didn't click this game from jump. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I really, it's nothing more painful as a fan to lose a game where your defense was fired up and you got this top 5 offense out there. And you just, from the part where they blocked the punt, I'm thinking blowout, like completely. The defense was fired up. The special teams was even showing up. I'm thinking blowout. There's no way in hell you could tell me after we blocked that punt and got that touchdown that our offense was not going to produce any points at all. And like I said, I went over the stats and everything. It was pretty. It was our game to win. We lost it. To sack Colin Kaepernick 4 times, to get a turnover, special teams to come out fired up. I'm actually watching the game again for the 3rd time, and we just did nothing, man. And we got to play the Rams next week, and Chip Kelly, man, he has to do something. I mean, like I said, we getting Lane back, so we'll have Lane Johnson back on at right tackle. Harriman's will go to right guard. Moke will probably start at center again. And as far as left guard is concerned, I don't know if they're going to slide Matt Tobin over there or if they're just going to put Dennis Kelly there or anybody. But our offensive line, now I'm saying this now, we know we're still not going to have our starting offensive line fully. We know we're getting Lane Johnson back. We also know that the offensive line is still going to be kind of makeshift. So I'm looking at Chip Kelly to come out with a better game plan than he did against the 49ers, because that was just terrible. Like, that was completely terrible. And the execution and the play calls for Zach Ertz to have a fumble, for Riley Cooper to have a fumble, like, the offense was just terrible. I cannot put this game on the defense, period. You can say Carey gave up a touchdown and he got burnt and this, that, and the third. Like, listen, the defense did their job. The offense was terrible, and that's where I stand on that. We got to come out with a better game plan against the Rams, because there's no way in hell we're going to win this game against the Rams with the bullshit play calls that Chip called. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if Shady McCoy's not getting off in the run game, use him in the screen game. If Darren Sproles is out there and Shady's out there, like, do something. Like, I see too many short passes and on dropbacks where Foles drops back and he looks and he's throwing short passes. Like, this offense is boring. The only excitement as Eagles fans that we have from this offense is the comeback victories that we had in the first 3 weeks. But Chip be running a boring offense that everybody's looking to be exciting and high octane. You gotta call better plays. You have to call better plays. The defense was out there. They did their job. The special teams even contributed. So it's all up to the offense now. And you guys, you comment below, you know, let me know what y'all think on my analysis or whatever. But I don't know. I might post more videos throughout the course of the week and everything. But shout out to everybody who follow me on the Instagram page. I love y'all. Thank you for the support. The Twitter page, We Bleed Green. You guys, love y'all. Bird Gang for life. Love you guys. Peace.